literally it almost broke me, it almost destroyed me, right? Like it literally took me to the brink, right? And I'm sharing that with you guys because, hopefully some of you guys are going to be checking out the course, right? The Fire Your Boss course. um so if you're checking out the course, you're going to get a lot of that in the course, because on your journey to becoming the best version of yourself and to creating your business, to firing your boss and being your own boss, it's going to take you to a very, very lonely place in the beginning, right? And you have to have the tools to be able to, to endure and overcome, right? But that's not what this episode is about. In this episode, we're going to talk about being at the 5 yard line, and what you need to do to kind of like push through and get your team aligned, get your strategic partners, your service providers, focused on a particular goal and pushing towards the goal and literally hitting and meeting the goal. So this is about leadership. This is about personal leadership, and it's also about team leadership, right? And if you're going to lead, then you need to know where you're leading yourself to and where you're leading people to. So you got to become clear on your ideas. And so a lot of you guys who might be watching this right now, you have great ideas, you're working on great products, and you might even have a good service, right? But you're not really clear. So if you're not clear, you got to go get clear, right? And getting clear means you got to spend a lot of time thinking about your product, right? So you got to immerse yourself, right? They say you have to develop a monomaniacal focus that borders on an obsession around those few primary things that are important to you. You got to immerse yourself into your product, your service, and into the vision, a vision of the future that you're literally living into, because it's that vision that gives you your being in your presence. Right? It's not about what's happened in the past, what didn't work, what you failed at, or any of that, right? You can't, your mind at no point can be consumed by that. You have to be consumed by this vision of the future, and you have to be monomaniacally focused on your product and your service, and on the end, in terms of like who the best version of yourself, what represents that. Well, you have to be monomaniacally focused on that, right? And so we're going to be covering a lot of that, and in this episode. And how we're going to cover it, I want to show you guys literally what I'm dealing with right now. So look, I had a call that, in terms of this episode, I had a couple of people who were supposed to come on. I'm not sure how the timing is going to be. So it might just be me going through the monologue and sharing some things with you guys about where we are right now at the 5 yard line as we push this product out. We push the digital product out. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of background. So first of all, the Fire Your Boss podcast, I like to say, I'm really inspired by my man DJ Khaled. Big up to DJ Khaled. We the best music, right? And every time I hear Khaled say that, I'm like, okay, but I'm with it. Like, I love the fact that he believes in himself. He believes in his product. He believes in his service, right? And he's willing to tell you that he has the best music, and he's willing to go out there and collaborate with the best artists, the best producers, the best videographers, right? The best in the industry to kind of like pull it together. Now, you might not be at a level where you can go out and get the number one guy in your field, but you know what? At the level that you're at, you try to find the very best person that can complement you and your vision, right? To kind of do whatever it is that you want to do, with them. So I say all of that to simply say that I really believe that we're coming with the absolute best, course, and we're launching a digital platform, right? It's an automated sales and marketing platform that literally does the work for you so that you don't have to do it. And the reason why we're launching this is because one of the things that I saw, right? And look, I'm the first client of this platform. So when you guys start getting emails, right? When you guys start getting text messages and calls, and you're seeing stuff on social media, I want you to know that I'm taking the medicine. And this was the challenge, right, that I had. The challenge was not knowing anything about software. How could I code myself, right, and multiply myself to be able to serve more people, because I need money. I need money, and money is a byproduct of service. So if you're not serving more people, it's very difficult for you to have more money, right? Then the wanting more money is going to become that elusive dream that you continue to have, and continues to frustrate you, because you're never going to get what you want, because you're not serving, right? You're not serving more people, and you're not being a person of value in the marketplace. So if you want more money, you have to go out and develop your talents and develop your skills and your ability, and find something to get good at. And if you get good at that thing, and if you can figure out who your customers are, your target market, and if you can figure out how to reach them with your product and your service, you can get good at that, and you can deliver something to them, right? And if you can do that consistently, then what's going to happen is you should get an equal enumeration for the service and the product that you're putting out there, and that's how it works, right? And so, guys, that means that's going to take time. That's going to take energy. That's going to take time away from your friends who are sitting there just complaining. And by the way, guys, if you're looking for money, you want to take a look at your 5 closest friends. Your bank account is the average of theirs. Now, I want you to think about that. So maybe you should, I'm not a proponent of cutting friends out of your life, but like at the end of the day, man, like, you can't soar like an eagle if you're flying around with pigeons. I attribute that to Les Brown. The great Les Brown points out that you can't soar like an eagle if you're flying around with pigeons. I'm not sure if that's exactly Les's quote. The other thing is, when you find yourself on your back, this is Les' quote though. When you find yourself down, so right now, we're going into a new year, and you could be kind of like worried about the fact that you just spent a lot of money during the holidays to get these gifts, right? And we're not going to debate the merits of that and the wisdom in that, right? So you could be thinking about that, or you might be thinking about the fact that you're behind your hopes and your aspirations, right? And that what you're doing just isn't cutting it, and you need to figure out a way to create more revenue and to create more sustainability in your finances. Because I really don't think, given where we are right now, I don't think that everybody, people are caught up in, and like, obviously, let me back up. So I don't want to say I don't want to be rich. I absolutely want to be wealthy, right? And I think that I can tell you that I am on my way to wealth and abundance in my life, because I've made the investment in myself, right? I've literally made the investment in really becoming a person of value in the marketplace. And I don't say that to kind of like ring my own bell, right? I just know how much time I've put into my work. I just know how much time I've put into my product. And I just know that the product is something that you guys are going to love, because it was designed to give you an extraordinary experience in terms of helping you fire your boss and create one high-paying job for yourself. And when you're doing that, that means you got to become your own boss, and you got to, like, your side hustle has to become your main hustle, right? And when your side hustle become your main hustle, then you're on your way, right? It means that you're going to have to launch a business, and you're going to have to learn how to sell, and you're going to have to learn how to market, right? But in the midst of that, what kills people on their way to that is like the selling and the marketing, and it's challenging. I'm looking at myself here on camera, and I'm seeing this. It's gone. So and then, guys, that's the other thing, right? I'm not interested in being perfect. I'm just not, right? That's not what this is about, right? So if you came here looking for the most curated, the most highly high definition quality edited video, that's not what you're going to get, but you will get the best content, because we have the best content, right? We absolutely have the best content, and because we don't we are we're focused on in this podcast and the course, you know, and with the service, it's really focused on delighting you and really speaking to you from where you're at and from what you're dealing with in your life in this moment, in the and given the fact that the marketplace has changed. And this is not about getting rich quick. It's about creating a sustainable living income for yourself. And what do you need to do to actually do that, right? Um, hold on. All right, so you know, I was just so rudely interrupted, but listen, I'm gonna wrap this up because I have to. I literally have to jump on something else, right? But the thing that I want you guys to walk away from this with is the fact that attention is the currency in the marketplace right now, right? And what you what you spend your time and your energy doing in large part is going to determine what it is that you have. So I don't want you, if you know, first of all, if you guys are checking out this podcast for the first time, I am hugely appreciative of your attention. I appreciate you guys checking this out. If you got any value out of this, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit the subscription button and become you know, just to subscribe to the podcast, right? And if you think that you've gotten really good value out of it, I'm going to ask you guys to make a donation in the Patreon channel proportional to the level of value that you think that you've gotten out of the podcast, right? And out of this content, right? But and if you think it's really valuable, then I'm going to ask you to share this with your friends. And one of the reasons why we want you guys to subscribe is because when you subscribe, you help the podcast grow and you help us kind of like, you know, get it out to folks in other parts of the world that might be interested in this content, because we're building a tribe, right? So I want you guys to go ahead and subscribe. And also the last thing is, I didn't say this at the beginning of this episode, but I normally say this, that, you know, for those of you guys who listen to the entirety of this episode, I usually have a free offer for you guys. The link is in the description, and it's a free offer of you get to try our course absolutely free. So YouTube, we're not selling anything, it's absolutely free for educational purposes, right? You get to try our services for 14 days. It's absolutely free, right? But the folks that you know, if you're going to try the service, you have to be ready to try the service, right? You know, because what we literally do is we give you free calls, we give you free emails, and we give you a free strategy call, you know, to help you kind of like think about your sales and your marketing, because this is the piece that kills most businesses and stop them, you know, from getting off the ground, right? You know, and you know, our new mastermind, we're just launching the mastermind this year, and so you know, we want you guys to kind of like join the mastermind, you know, around that. So and again, and that's free. You're not paying for anything right now. So go ahead and click the link in the description, and you can you know, check that out. And we also have a free webinar on the other side of this, right? This is Osiris J. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to have you guys check out anything that we're doing, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.